currently been reading Anthony DeMello's Awareness, and this is an amazing book. And if you guys have never heard of it, first off, I recommend you get the book and read it. But today I want to talk about an idea in this book that he dwells on over and over again, and I think it would be a benefit to talk about, and it is self-observation. And an example he gives for self-observation is to observe yourself as the sky observes the clouds. So in your mind, thoughts arise, and instead of clinging to these thoughts and assenting with them and fulfilling them, just observe them. Observe them as if you were the sky observing the clouds. Some clouds that come in are going to be big, fluffy, white, beautiful clouds. And other clouds that come in are going to be, black, storm, thunderous, lightning, rainy clouds. And the sky is neither attached to the former, or to the latter. It is just the sky. It's just observing. And through thick and thin, the sky always returns back to a blue sky, to a sky that can only be described as tranquil, is just clear, peaceful, at ease. The sun is full. There's not a cloud in sight. And this is how your mind can be. We so often have a thought and we believe we need to ride it. We believe we need to escalate it. You have a thought, you're like, oh, so-and-so is being rude to me right now. So-and-so is wronging me. And then you start escalating that in your head. You're like, oh, I never really did like so-and-so. Like, they've always been mean to me. Like, so-and-so, like, why are they doing this? Like, why don't they like me? They're always doing this. They're always mean. I should just be mean back. I've had enough, blah, blah, blah. And then you get attached to this idea. And instead of observing it and watching it go by and realizing that that person really isn't attacking you, they're attacking an idea of you. They're attacking the label of you. And that's who your ego feels like it's getting harassed. Your ego feels like you're being attacked because your ego identifies with those external, like your experiences, your labels. Your ego thrives off those things, but that's not you. You're not your title. You're not a billionaire. You're not successful. You're not any of those things, because those things are taken away. And your true self isn't so easily changed. Your true self is eternal. You don't change. It's not your body, because your body changes. Your body is creating new cells all the time. And I think it's something like, after 7 years, I'm 22, and at 29, all the cells I have aren't going to be the same as I have right now. So it can't be that, because the I doesn't change. The I is not something so flimsy. And success, that's not me. I could lose success like that. Quote unquote success. That's not me. President of the company, that's not me. I could be demoted, or I could be, the board of directors, whoever does that stuff, could fire me. I could, if that's even possible. I think you guys know what I mean, though. That's not me. If you are a bodybuilder and you break your leg, you're no longer a bodybuilder. That is not you. You're not a bodybuilder. That's your title. That's your earthly position. If you're financially free, that's not you. Those things are not you. So when people attack you, they're not attacking you. They're attacking the idea of you, the labels of you, the you that they're experiencing. The what through all the combination of experiences and with things they've heard about you, that's who they think they're dealing with. They're not dealing with the true you because their idea of you will change. One day, the person who praises you will be the same person who hates you, who is praying for your downfall, who doesn't want to see you succeed. And then the next day, that same person could be back to praising you again. And this could all be due to, it really is just due to interpretations and impressions. And that's not you. And once you can realize that and sit back and observe thoughts of anger, thoughts of lust, thoughts of greed, thoughts of the ego, then you can realize that those things aren't you. Like I, I've never been like the most spiritual person on this channel, but like this is not me. Like this face, my face will change. I will be wrinkly one day, and so my face can't be me. The eye is not so easily manipulated. I could gain 100 pounds. That didn't happen to the eye. That happened to my flesh. I could get a mortal wound, or not a mortal wound. I could get a scar across my face. My face changed. The self never changed. So be aware of that, and just when people are bashing you or even praising you, take a step back and observe what they're really doing. This person is praising an idea of me. This person is praising who they think I am. They're praising my experience. And they're really praising what they think is good. And look at what else they think is good. Potentially, whatever people do, everyone's different, but some people experience pleasure from different things. And if a person who experiences pleasure from something not so, let's say, noble is praising you, do you really want to be lumped in with the same? Are you really going to feel pride and about being lumped in with praise by the same person who praises blank, praises sin or whatever it may be? You really want to be lumped into the same category? In his head is that. So just think about the people who praise, who blame you, and what they are praising and blaming. They're praising the external things that you do, the external world that you abide in, and how you fit into it. That's why people who go against the grain are so controversial and hated on, because it's like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this. Why are you doing that? And then they do that, and then you say, good. But that's not you. You're not your experiences. You're not your experiences. And yeah, I am kind of early into this whole spiritual awakening, if you will say, enlightenment thing. But I'm doing some reading on it. Like I said, I'm reading this book, Awareness, and it's a really good book. Has more about just spirituality things. If you're not into that, it's still a good book. And I'm going to be reading the Dhammapada, and I've already read the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm going to read another spiritual book just to kind of get a feel for that whole world. But it makes sense to me that your eye is not so changeable. So I just wanted to bring that idea to you guys, because I know I've talked about not escalating your emotions so abruptly. And I think this is a really good alternative way to view it. It's an alternative way to view it, but it's essentially the same point, that you aren't your emotions and you don't need to jump on every single thought. You aren't your thoughts at the end of the day. Your thoughts are just there. And it's up to you to say, I'm that thought, or I'm not that thought. I'm That's not me. And then it's miraculous how quickly a deep urge to do something can leave if you just don't, if you don't just build it up in your head. If you think, oh, I really want to gossip about so and so right now because they were just talking bad about me. And then you start making up in your mind, like, yeah, they normally do talk bad about me. Like in this situation, they would do the same thing. Once you start playing that out in your head, it's so hard to resist. But if you can just detach from that, observe it, and then be like, huh, why would I want to gossip about somebody? What good does that do me? What good is gossiping about this person going to do? Why would I go down to their level? And then you take a rational position on the situation, and then you don't gossip, and then the urge goes away so quickly because you realize how childish and stupid it is. And then you're on to the next thought, and then you're on to the next thought, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And yeah, so yeah, view your mind as the sky.